I love sport, from football to the other kind of football. I enjoy watching modern-day gladiators battle it out in the arena of athleticism to be crowned king or queen of the Colosseum. Except for tennis, it's just never floated my proverbial boat. That is, until Serena Williams threw a right tantrum at the final of the US Open, and it ended up costing her the match, prompting everyone's favourite moral supremacist Riley Dennis to make a video explaining why the umpire's decision was born through sexism and racism, rather than the fact that Williams acted like a petulant child. So, get out your notebooks, it's time for another Riley Dennis lecture.
Hey everyone!
Hi!
As you can tell from the title, today we're talking about Serena Williams and the recent controversy surrounding her tennis match at the US Open final.
I just explained all that, but whatever.
I'm sure a lot of you don't watch tennis or particularly care about sports, but I promise you this has implications that go way beyond tennis.
Oh, he promised us! You all heard it. So now we can expect it to really kick off because Riley Dennis promised. And if it doesn't, then we know he's full of shit. Well, we knew that anyway. Carry on.
The shit that Serena Williams had to deal with is a brand of combined racism and sexism often known as misogynoir.
That's not a word.
And it's something that black women everywhere have to deal with every day.
But you're not a black woman. Whatever happened to the old you don't know what they go through thing? I believe you've said that more than once, Riley, so I guess you're exempt from your own preaching, are you? Knob.
So let's go over what happened. Serena Williams was playing Naomi Osaka, and the umpire was Carlos Ramos.
Now, listen to those names. Osaka is of Japanese and Haitian heritage, and Carlos Ramos is some kind of Mexican, Portuguese, I think. So after we've been told by the likes of the cunts from Dear White People that
racism is the oppression of a marginalized group in a society that's based on white supremacy.
Then how could it be racism when there wasn't a whitey on the fucking court?
Serena's coach made a hand signal towards her, so Ramos gave her a point violation.
Actually, he gave her a warning, and the coach later admitted that he was illegally coaching her from the sideline, even though Williams still fervently denies it. But then why would you believe a white man, eh?
She later broke a racket, which was another point violation. Then she yelled at Ramos, which was a third point violation. So Ramos gave her a game violation.
That's how it works. Not allowed to receive coaching during the match, not allowed to fuck stuff up in anger, and must not verbally abuse anyone. So what's the issue, Riley? She doesn't have to follow the rules because she's a black woman? And I'm really pissed off at you right now because you made me look up the damn rules when you clearly didn't fucking bother.
The problem here is that the umpire was treating Serena in a way he never would have treated a man or a white woman.
Except he did a mere 8 days later, to a white man. So...
Tons of tennis fans and former players have pointed out that a man probably wouldn't have received a point violation for the coach making a hand signal.
Well, it depends on the umpire, doesn't it? Like in a court of law, you get lenient judges and you get harsh judges. Ramos is a notoriously harsh judge. Probably best not to fuck around with him, right, Serena? No, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Serena didn't make the hand signal. Her coach did. But she was penalized for it, and on top of that, the umpire accused her of cheating.
Do you honestly expect the umpire to penalise the coach? What the fuck would that do? The bloke ain't even playing.
So she understandably got angry because she wasn't cheating, and she knew she wasn't cheating.
But it was cheating, though. And he admitted it. And she would have just been given a warning had she not caused such a racket.
Tennis puns.
And yet this umpire was calling into question her character and integrity. And then she was penalized for breaking a racket and yelling at the umpire, both things that men and white women regularly do without receiving point violations.
Oh yeah, because John McEnroe never got given any penalties, did he? No, he definitely didn't get thrown out of the 1990 Australian Open. Jeez, Riley, if I can do the research, then you can too.
There's a really strong argument to be made that had she been a man or a white woman, the umpire would not have given her a game penalty.
Well, Osaka's a black woman and she didn't get a penalty, but then she also didn't throw her fucking toys out of the pram.
In fact, here's a video of men losing their shit at umpires.
Oh look, it's John McEnroe, so you do know who he is, Riley. The guy who's paid a total of $67,500 in fines between 1977 and 1991. Kinda puts your own argument to shit, doesn't it?
I'm just gonna leave that over here in the corner to play while we keep talking.
Yeah, you do that, buddy. At least his antics are more entertaining than your steady flow of icy sexism and racism in everything bullshit.
Former pro tennis player James Blake came to Serena's defense, saying that he's said much worse to umpires and not been penalized for it. One person on Twitter compiled a list of times that Ramos, the umpire, didn't penalize men and white women for yelling at him. They found 11 examples of it.
And here's a list of the fines dished out between men and women from 1998 to 2018. Doesn't look like men get given more leeway than women, does it? But no, you take your overwhelming 11 examples.
I mean, look at all of this. this, how much more evidence do you need that Serena was treated unfairly? The thing I keep seeing in every comment section about this stuff is people saying, well, she broke the rules, so she paid the consequences.
Yes, and that's how it should be. Unless you think she shouldn't play by the same rules as everyone else because of her skin color and gender, because that would be racist and sexist, wouldn't it?
But that completely ignores the fact that these calls are discretionary. That means they're not applied evenly to all players. The umpire can decide to just issue a warning without penalizing the player if they want.
No, as I've already shown you, you get a warning first. Then if you keep being a dick, you get a point penalty, and if you insist on being a whingy little spaz about it, you get a game penalty. Seriously, Riley, use the internet for something other than Tumblr.
And men and white women are far more likely to be given warnings without any kind of penalty, while Serena is immediately penalized because she is a black woman.
Oh, you are such a dickhead. She wasn't immediately penalized. She was given a warning first. Did you even see what happened? Because it sounds like you didn't, and it's not like you to talk about something you know nothing about, is it?
If everyone was held to the same standard, you could maybe try and make the argument that what happened to her was fair. But the fact is that people are held to vastly different standards based on both their race and their gender.
Bullshit! Bullshit! I can see you really want that to be true, but that's just bullshit. If all matches had the same umpire, then you might be onto something, but they don't, and you're not.
And in Serena's case, she faces discrimination on both fronts. But I think it's also important to remember that Serena's anger wasn't out of nowhere. She's been dealing with misogynoir throughout her entire career.
She's also been quite a cunt throughout her career. In 2009, she shouted at the line judge saying she was gonna shove a ball down her throat, which when she does it is a violation, but when I do it is sexual assault. And in 2011, she told the umpire she was a hater and unattractive inside. Not as bad as the previous one, I'll warrant you, but it does show she's lost her shit before.
That anger must have been building for years. It wasn't just about this call. Her whole life she's faced discrimination because she's a black woman.
You don't know that! You're just assuming it because she's a black woman, which is, again, quite racist and sexist of you, Riley.
And I can't imagine how frustrating it must be to go through that for so long and to still have such bullshit happening in the US Open final. We only see the anger in that moment, but we don't see all the shit that's happened to her over the years that led up to it.
You're right, we don't. So maybe stop commenting on it like you have.
I think her anger was completely justified. I've seen so many people online, especially white people, who are just happy to file her under the angry black woman trope and move on.
Well, to be fair, she is black, she is a woman, and she was angry, so I see no problem with that. I mean, you can't be a role model to thousands of young female athletes and then throw a right tantrum because you're fucked up. What did she expect? To call the umpire a thief and for him to say, okay, have the point back? It's just not a good example to set, is it?
But if you're not a black woman, you don't understand what she's had to go through.
Well then, fuck the shut up, Riley.
Like, I'm white, I can't fully understand what she's been through either.
Well then, fuck the shut up, Riley.
But every black woman I've seen talking about this stuff has said that they feel for her and they know what it's like to be discriminated against like that.
Probably because you ignore the black women who agree with the umpire's decision.
Misogynoir is some shit, and I think it's really dismissive to just paint Serena as irrationally angry without even bothering to engage with the idea that she may have been treated differently because of her race and gender.
So you don't think smashing your racket on the ground and having a go at the umpire is irrational? How is it fucking rational? Unless you're suggesting that's just how black women react to things and she should have been allowed to continue with no consequence, which, again, would be quite sexist and racist, Riley.
Men and white women are allowed to be angry, but black women just aren't given that same space for anger.
Yeah, they are. It's just that space isn't the final of the US fucking Open.
So what happened in the game was a mess, but the aftermath in the media has been even worse.
If you're referring to your own video, Riley, I can't help but agree with you.
News outlets have been describing Serena as having a meltdown when they say that men who do a similar thing are just having an argument. An Australian cartoonist drew this super racist depiction of Serena.
Oh yeah, caricatures are fine when it's a white person, but when it's a black person, racist!
And even turned Naomi Osaka into a blonde white woman for some reason.
The umpire's also drawn as a white guy, Riley, but what do you care? He's a man.
And I've been seeing hot take after hot take of people saying that her behavior was unacceptable and mean and all sorts of shit without acknowledging how unfairly she was treated.
Because she wasn't. She broke the rules, she broke her shit, and then she called the umpire a load of names. If she'd have got away with it, that would be unfair.
People want to believe that rules are all enforced evenly and that the umpire always makes the right call. But racism, sexism, misogynoir, those deeply ingrained ideas don't just disappear when you become an umpire.
Then why did Osaka not get any penalties, Riley? She's a black woman too. I mean, say what you want about racism, but it is inclusive.
And for so many media outlets to dismiss her anger and to paint her as just an angry black black woman is to contribute to the hatred against her. Even supposedly unbiased news articles I've seen have been giving so much more space and time to people defending the umpire than anyone defending Serena.
Oh, bless him! Riley's just found out the media is often biased. All this time he thought they just reported the cold hard facts. How cute!
It's just so sad to watch. Serena didn't deserve any of this. She deserved the right to a fair game, and given the bullshit the umpire put her through, she deserved the right to be angry.
True, she did deserve the right to be angry. But when she broke the rules 3 times, she also deserved to lose a game point.
Had she been a man or a white woman, she probably would have been given a fairer game, or at least allowed to be angry without being penalized.
Oh, fuck off. That's bollocks and you know it, you deluded little beanpole. There isn't one set of rules for white women and one set of rules for black women, even though that's clearly what you're advocating, which is quite racist of you.
So at the end of the day, it sucks that it all went down like that. Naomi and Serena both deserved the chance to have a fair match. It sucks that they were denied that because of an umpire who felt he had to wield his power over a black woman.
Oh man, it gets worse. Thing is, if this happened to a white guy, as it often has before, Riley would have fuck all to say on the matter. But as soon as it's a black chick, oh, the umpire's wielding his power over her. I bet you think he's guilty of colluding with the Russians too. Such bullshit.
And the point of this video is not that Naomi should have lost or anything like that. It just should have been a fair game.
I agree. With no rule breaking from someone who should have known better. And without the winner getting booed while she lifts the fucking trophy because the loser riled up the crowd by stamping her feet like a 5-year-old girl.
I think we need to be careful not to pit Naomi against Serena here when the real villain of this story is the umpire.
Yeah, stupid umpire expecting people to follow the same set of rules regardless of their sex or colour of their skin. He should have allowed the coaching from the sidelines, let her off for smashing her racket and taken the abuse she threw at him. Because she's an oppressed black woman, and that means she gets special treatment, right? And why stop there? Why not let black women break the law and then throw abuse at the police for trying to arrest them? Then the media can lose its shit over how they're expected to face the same consequences as the rest of us. Oh wait, that already happens. Thanks for watching, guys. Please consider becoming a patron to replace all my sports equipment I broke in frustration. And check me out on BitChute where the rules really are different. The links are in the description, and remember, the only thing I've learned from this is that Serena Williams isn't actually a man.